Dogs, the show where I try to get you guys some extra value on your bets and hopefully make you guys a little bit of extra money. Yeah, we'll start with, as we usually do, the recap of yesterday. We had a 3-3 record, so we're still above 500 on the week, which is obviously great. But we hit on the Nuggets at plus 130, the Royals at plus 170, and the Rockies at minus 105. Even though the Rockies gave us a little bit of a scare late last night or early this morning, depending on how you want to look at it. Had a 2-run lead going into the ninth, let up 1 run and had the bases loaded before finally getting a strikeout to end the game. But then we lost with the Nationals, Twins, and Mavericks. But one thing I will say is that I thought Porzingis was going to play. The news broke after my show ended that KP would in fact be out. I'm still not saying that I thought it would be that bad without Porzingis, but I don't know. Definitely would have given a little bit more of a warning on the pick. But yeah, I'm not going to complain with a 3-3 record, especially hitting on a plus 170 with the Royals. But we'll get right into it for today. I'll start with NBA today. So this is a pick that I've been rolling with pretty much the whole series, taking alternative point spread with the Rockets. The series tied at 2-2, but I would argue the series should probably be over. The Rockets' first loss, just terrible play down the stretch. They couldn't score. Some late missed free throws, and then obviously once it got into overtime, Harden had fouled out, and they just had nothing left. But I would argue the game shouldn't even have gone to overtime. And then Game 4 the other day, Rockets had a big lead, 15-point lead midway through the third quarter. And then again, the offense just falls flat. I don't know what's going on. But I think this series should be over. Probably should have been a sweep. And this isn't a game where I have crazy numbers like backing it up. I just really believe at heart that the Rockets are a better team than the Thunder, even without Westbrook. And I don't think covering 5 is an insane amount to lay. So I'll take the alternative point spread -4 or -4.5 at plus 110. This line has moved a little bit since I put these numbers in last night. So I think if you do -4.5 now, it's more like plus 105. But regardless, I like it either way. If you're feeling risky, you can get it up to 5.5, get some better value. But I like it here at 4.5 for plus 110. And we can get into MLB now, and we'll start with this is probably my best bet of the day, at least in my opinion. It's the Rockies. We're going with them again after hooking us up last night. They got John Gray on the mound, who was 1-3 with a 6.23 ERA and a 1.35 WHIP. Now, one thing I want to just say right off the bat is he does in fact have a high ERA, but his WHIP is league average by MLB standards. So I'm sure that ERA will drop a little bit in the future. But he's going up against Robbie Ray, who was 1-3 with an 8.33 ERA and 2 even WHIP. And now this is really just the case. I mean, you look at the numbers. It's 2 bad pitchers so far this year, even though I said I think Gray will flatten out later down. But the numbers are pretty bad for each pitcher. You go even further, put their numbers up on screen. Gray's thrown 30 innings, allowed 33 hits, 8 walks. So he really does pitch to contact. He's let up a lot of hits, doesn't really strike people out too often, and has a lot of handful of home runs. But if you look on the other end, Robbie Ray in 27 innings has allowed 29 hits and a whopping 25 walks. So that's definitely something to look out for. Robbie Ray has had some serious control issues this year. He does strike some people out, but he has allowed 9 home runs in his 27 innings. So run the numbers there, 1 every 3 innings. Obviously not what you want as a pitcher. And so, like I said, these are just 2 pitchers that aren't throwing the ball well, but I would argue that whatever advantage it is, Gray does have a slight advantage here. But we'll get further into it that the Rockies are 5th in batting average and number 14 in slugging. So I like their edge at the plate here a little bit, but I'm really just trying to dig into Ray here. So Ray is last in ERA in innings 1 through 5. He has an 8 ERA in those innings. That isn't worst in the MLB for all pitchers, but so let's just say that it goes average, maybe even a little bit better than average for Ray. The Rockies are still 12-1 when leading after the 5th inning this year, and the Diamondbacks are 3-16 when trailing after the 5th this year. So assuming that Ray has his normal game, or even maybe a little slightly better game, Diamondbacks are not a team that can come back from an early deficit. Their numbers for the rest of the year also, they're 2-10 when trailing after the 1st, 4-10 when trailing after the 3rd, and 3-15 when trailing after the 7th. So if they fall behind, they tend to just not come back. And I think this is definitely a game where I can see the Rockies putting up some early runs. And I mean, the proof is there that the Diamondbacks tend to not fight back. So I like the Rockies at plus 125 as probably my best bet of the day. And one more here. Got the Mets on an alternative run line. I believe it's set at 1.5 as it usually is. But I'll take the extra half run, get a Mets -2 at plus 115. I feel like this is a case where worst case scenario, you break even. And if they do manage to win by 3, you can get some extra money at plus 115. So there's some interesting things here before I even get into the pitching. So the Marlins got to their hotel last night or yesterday morning, really at 3:30 in the morning, and then had to get up and play a doubleheader yesterday. And the last game didn't end right until around midnight. So I don't usually play games in these spots where I just think, oh, travel's going to get to them. But I mean, there is a lot of convincing numbers to say that that is a real thing. But considering that they played a double header yesterday, I think that might change some things. So they're tired for sure. And now they have to come out and face DeGrom. Another way to look at it is the Marlins did win both games yesterday, so they might just be happy taking 2. And knowing that they have DeGrom might just come out and fall flat. You never know. So I think that might be something to get into there. But, I mean, I'm not even going to go too much into these numbers. 2 really good pitchers this year. Obviously, DeGrom is putting up what we would expect, and I think he is the best pitcher in the MLB right now. But also, the Mets are number 2 in batting average in the MLB and number 1 in on-base percentage. And so even though the Marlins do have a decent pitcher out on the mound today, their bullpen has proven to be one of the worst. They are number 24 in team whip. And so this is really just a feeling play for me. I really do think that DeGrom comes out and has another gem as usual. And I don't know. I really think that this might just be a game where the Marlins come out and just don't really give it their all, considering they got 2 yesterday, and they were playing until midnight, running only on a couple hours of sleep. So, yeah, it's just a feel game for me. And also, as always, got some leans for you guys. Royals, we're running it back with them. They've been a fan, or not even a fan favorite, but a favorite for me to play as an underdog. They're plus 140 versus the Cardinals. And also the Indians at even money versus the Twins. I know I was on the Twins yesterday and I'm on the Indians today, but just a little slight pitching advantage without going too much into it. And also I will say, normally I would go with the Magic and Blazers, who I believe are 13 and 14 point dogs in their games, and probably sell a couple points, get them at like around plus 10. But the situation is that both teams are on the brink of elimination, and if a game gets out of hand, I can see them just not really fighting back and giving up, realizing that their season's over. So yeah, I mean, play those games with caution, of course. And also another thing I'll say is the Yankees doubleheader today. I don't have any picks here on the show because the pitching matchups are a little shaky, considering the game got canceled yesterday and they're running a doubleheader today. I still don't even believe that the pitching matchups are set, but Garrett Cole should be facing off with Ian Anderson, who is making his MLB debut. Actually, I played against Ian Anderson in high school, so just a quick little flex there. But Garrett Cole in a 7-inning game could very well get a complete game under his belt and probably get a shutout if he really pitches his best and has his best stuff on him. But the second game, I believe it's Tanaka versus Fried, if I'm correct. But I would edge going against the Yankees, go with the Braves in that one. But if those pitching matchups change, it's just definitely something to look into. I definitely wouldn't go against Cole and wouldn't go against Fried. So just some things to think about there. So as always, I'll just do a quick recap of the picks. So Rockets -4.5, you get them at +110. The Rockies at +125. Which is my best bet of the day, and the Mets at -2 for +115. Thinking that'll be at worst case scenario, we'll break even on that bet. And then the leans, the Royals versus the Cardinals at +140, and the Indians even money versus the Twins. So yeah, we're having a pretty good week so far. Got a above 500 record, hit on some pretty decent sized dogs. And I'm hoping to keep that going and close out the league on a strong note. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. So hopefully I'll see you guys then. Thanks.